Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Please remember to like and subscribe. Little People, Big World returns with an unexpected season 26 twist after 25 incredible seasons of love, hardship, and familial bonds. This time, however, the Roloff farm is concealing mysteries that go beyond the ground it is situated on. After her divorce from Matt, viewers saw Amy fall in love again with Chris Merrick for years. As they traveled, laughed, and embarked on a new chapter together, the pair appear to be very stable. However, an exclusive TLC insider now discloses that the surface was flawless. Chris has hidden behind the selfies and smiles. Filed for a divorce. According to the insider, the marriage started to fall apart because of unspoken disagreements, growing apart, and a new partner. Although Amy hasn't made any public statements yet, insiders claim that Chris has already moved on with a woman he met while filming last year, whom Amy knows. And there are other surprises as well. As they raised their kids, dealt with health issues, and persevered through it all, fans appreciated Zach and Tori's endearing romance. However, season 26 changes in a way that fans will be difficult to accept. Tori and Zach are no longer together. The couple is on the verge of divorcing after years of mounting conflict, misunderstandings, and the strain of being watched by the public. Zach isn't alone, which surprised everyone. According to a TLC insider, Zach has discreetly started a new connection with a person who is not associated with the Roloff family and is not in the public eye. Although the Roloff family has survived adversity in the past, this time the show's core values are beginning to erode. Unity. Currently, as trust becomes the rarest commodity on the farm when relationships break down. According to the insider, Zach's new romance is causing division in the family. And while Amy is relying on her children for support, one of those relationships is more complicated than ever. Amy says, "I thought Chris and I were building something that would last the rest of our lives. I didn't expect to be starting over again. Not like this." Blindsided that the emotional separation occurred long before the legal one. Zach has not yet made public remarks about his new partner, but TLC crews have reportedly captured moments with her off-camera, indicating a mid-season reveal that might shock devoted viewers. Meanwhile, tension is building between Zach and Amy, who reportedly disapproves of Zach's new relationship and believes it is too abrupt, too early, and too quiet. And what about Matt? For once, the patriarch of the family is remaining silent. The early autumn air at Roloff Farms feels different this year. The pumpkins are still bright orange, but the smiles are harder to find. Amy stands at the porch, arms crossed, watching as production crews set up across the gravel path. Her eyes are heavy, not from age, but from weeks of sleepless nights and unanswered questions. Behind the scenes, he's been trying to hold the pieces together while dealing with his own surprise. Caryn is nowhere to be seen this season. Could this be connected? Jenna, a former TLC field producer who worked closely with them during season 24, hasn't responded to any of her messages since the filing. Amy knew they had chemistry, but she never imagined it would become this. Zach sits across from Jeremy in the farmhouse kitchen. The silence is heavy. "I didn't want this," Zach eventually says. "Tori and I just stopped seeing each other." The focus shifted to the children, the cameras, the need to be flawless, and Zach nods slowly. "It's not like I planned it," Jeremy interrupts. "And then you found someone else." That hasn't happened in years. Outside, Tori is packing the last box into the trunk, while TLC producers hover silently, uncertain whether to film or stay back. Her hands shake as she closes the car door, and the kids are already buckled up, not realizing that this might be the last time they'll call the farmhouse home. "I was angry at first," Amy says in a voice that is hardly audible. "But now I'm just sad," she says as she approaches, silent for a short while. "We're all sad." Tori wipes her cheek. "Amy, he changed. Or perhaps he's always been this way, and I simply didn't want to witness it." Matt observes everything from a distance, saying nothing but knowing something that no one else does. Caryn left Oregon weeks ago. What's happening to her? No farewell, no explanation, just a text. "Don't bring up Caryn." When season 26 filming started, everyone expected her to show up with Matt as usual, smiling, camera ready, coffee in hand. However, week after week went by and Caryn's name vanished from the call sheets. The truth, according to a production assistant who wished to remain anonymous, Caryn left Matt quietly, without press, without drama. A single line in a production memo read, "Caryn will not appear this season for private reasons." In the meantime, back at the farm, Zach's new relationship is no longer a secret. Her name is Isabel, and she's 31 years old, average in height, and totally unknown to fans. She had grown tired of the cameras, the family conflicts, and being constantly portrayed as the reason Amy was unhappy. She reached her own breaking point when she learned that Matt had been in contact with an old flame, a woman he reconnected with at a property investors retreat. Amy refuses to acknowledge Isabel in front of the cameras, but she did consent to one filmed sit-down with Zach. What was supposed to be a peaceful conversation turned into one of the season's most emotionally charged moments. "You moved on like we were nothing," Amy says, fighting back tears. "You moved on like we were nothing." A children's therapy workshop that both of their sons attended. To your kids? To me? The footage was so raw that TLC executives allegedly tried to cut the entire scene, but weeks before the season trailer was released, a clip was leaked to a private fan page, and fans went crazy. Some incensed, others devastated, and all perplexed, until the shocking revelation that TLC could no longer conceal. A secret family meeting was filmed off hours without Amy's consent, without Matt's knowledge, where Jeremy. The cameras were packed up, the crew had left, the lights were off, but a small lens was still rolling, hidden behind a pantry cabinet at Matt's house, and Jeremy had asked a trusted cameraman to keep it running. What happened next was never supposed to air. Jacob, Molly, and Jeremy arrive one by one, quietly, each looking uncertain, as they haven't been in the same room together for more than a year. Zach stands near the fireplace, arms folded, and the cameras are turned off. Zach glares at him. "You haven't been around, Jeremy. You left the farm behind and show up now to lecture me?" Jacob interrupts, calm but direct. "That woman, Isabel, we don't know her. The kids don't know her yet. She's already in your life like she's already here." Amy is sitting on the couch, clearly exhausted, while Matt paces by the kitchen, coffee mug in hand. Jeremy speaks first. Molly, who has been silent up until now, finally speaks. "What hurts the most isn't the divorce, but the fact that you didn't say anything." Zach's voice breaks. "I was drowning. No one saw it, not even Tori. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I just drifted. And when I found someone who made me feel seen again, I couldn't walk away." Amy wipes her eyes but says nothing. "We should not be dealing with this in front of a hidden camera. That's not family. That's exploitation." Jacob agrees. "This isn't reality TV anymore. It's a disaster." Amy finally looks at Matt. Her voice is low and sharp. TLC's legal team is involved. They're afraid this is going to backfire hard. You had a family who would have stood by you. However, even the network is calling this a meltdown. The footage of the Roloff family's secret meeting went viral, garnering over 3 million views in a single day on YouTube, TikTok, and even mainstream news. Amy's tearful silence, Jeremy's accusations, Zach's broken confession, all of it was uncut and unfiltered. The fans were split more than ever before. Some supported Zach, understanding his emotional exhaustion and desire for a new beginning, while others were incensed, accusing him of treachery, selfishness, and dragging a once-loved show into tabloid-level drama. The hashtag cancel LPBW started trending on Twitter and Instagram. Meetings at TLC headquarters continued into the night, and legal advisors warned that the network could face severe liability if the leaked scene was aired without signed releases. However, ratings projections showed that this is the most engagement we've seen in 5 years. One executive stated, "If we cut this, we lose the season." Production was divided behind the scenes. "We stopped being a family documentary the moment we pointed a hidden camera at their pain," one producer wrote in an email, while other crew members declined to return for the second part of filming. And as if things couldn't get much messier, a private agent made a discreet proposition. TLC went up to Jeremy. With a theme of faith and family values, they intended to start a spin-off series called The Other Roloffs, which would center on Jeremy, Audrey, and their children. It would be shot without Amy, Matt, or Zach. Jeremy was taken aback. Since he hadn't spoken to Zach in days, this felt both like an opportunity and a betrayal. That evening, He and Audrey sat in the kitchen with the contract on the table. She was grinning already. Her words, "This could be ours." Even though the cameras weren't filming, Jeremy could already feel his family's eyes silently watching, so he didn't respond. No more drama, just our story. Jeremy is standing in the dim light of the kitchen. There is still no spin-off contract on the table. Audrey watches him while leaning against the doorframe. His hand shakes as he picks up the pen. Amy is sitting by herself on the veranda of her modest home across town. The Oregon trees have been shaded by the setting sun. She is holding an old family photo from when they were all living in the same house. Before betrayals, before divorce, and before cameras. Zach's phone buzzes as he sits on the edge of the bed in the Roloff farmhouse, gazing out the window. Isabel sent a message. "You all right?" He doesn't answer. And Matt enters the barn in a silent moment that is seldom observed. After stopping by the workshop, he grabs his flip phone, which he hasn't used in years. He dials a number from memory slowly. A recognizable voice says, "Hello," after it rings once and twice. After hesitating, Matt speaks. "It's me." There is a heavier than normal hush at the start of the following morning. Amy is examining a hefty envelope that her agent just sent while she sits at her kitchen table. Within, an formal proposal from the executive board of TLC. The network wants to give her an honorable farewell arc after weeks of upheaval. They want to pre-record Amy's last narrative before season 26 concludes because they're bracing for the chance that she might quit the show entirely. She reads the letter several times over. A big, respectable check is included, along with a discreet bribe to depart quietly, with dignity, and to make place for the next chapter without her. Tears well in her eyes, since it wasn't meant to end like way. Tori is sitting at her kitchen island across town, with her laptop open and a video call going on. One of the largest publishing houses in New York employs the woman on film as a senior editor. She makes a clear offer. "Tori, we think your voice counts. Your experiences as a mother, wife, and woman living in a public marriage. It's honest, unvarnished, and captivating. They're looking for a memoir." Still standing. "My Life Beyond the Farm" is the title of the book. Tori's jaw drops. "Dry," she says. "I don't know if I can relive it all." "You have," the editor responds. "It's time to take it back." Matt, meanwhile, holds his phone to his ear as he strolls around the pumpkin patch's edge. He had no intention of making that call. Not after everything. However, something changed in him last night. Caryn, his former girlfriend before Caryn, was on the other end of the call. She had left his life long before Little People. Big World was even an idea. He ran into the same woman. At the retreat for investors. Caryn might have had that same one left over. Matt talks slowly. "I never imagined that I would have to ask, but would you return to Oregon?" "Only for a visit." After a lengthy silence, she said in a steady, confident tone, "I'll make travel arrangements." Farms are blanketed in the golden glow of September. The family seems more empty than ever, even if the fields are filled. Amy is pacing her home while holding the TLC letter. Yet something inside of her won't let things stay this way, even when her heart whispers, "Walk away." She dials. Demands a meeting with the whole family in attendance as a producer. Saying what has to be said on video during a final family meal. They concur. On that Sunday, the large dining table is outside beneath a canopy of shifting leaves and string lights. Amy is the first to arrive, poised and ready, wearing a deep green outfit. Shortly later, Zach enters without Isabel. Then Audrey and Jeremy stood apart, arms crossed. Unexpectedly brave, Tori shows up by herself. At last, Matt comes in, but he's not alone himself. Caryn enters behind him. Calm, courteous, yet greeted with startled silence. The cameras start rolling. Amy starts after clearing her throat. "I refuse to accept TLC's farewell money," she states firmly. "Because I don't want my story's conclusion to be written by them. Not when a producer thinks it's convenient, but when I'm ready, I'll say goodbye." Next up is Tori. "A book deal was offered to me," she continues, looking at Zach. "And I will accept it. For myself and my children, I must take responsibility for my tale. Jeremy bends over. Thus, we are now as follows. Distinct. Opposing narratives, distinct contracts, and brands. Matt steps in. No, Amy isn't requesting that. Or Tori. Even if this family may be broken, we don't have to make things worse. Caryn doesn't say anything until Amy gives her a direct look. Amy tells me you owe me nothing. However, I hope you're aware of what you're getting into. Caryn responds tactfully. I didn't come here to take someone else's place. I came to check if anything was still worth keeping. There's a long silence. Although it's not an agreement. Not rejection. Either. The family is shown sitting together one final time, broken but still seated, as the camera pans out. Truth, grief, and a quiet type of strength. No neat conclusion, no group embrace.